It's an incredibly complex environment. Africa is huge. It's 3.7 times the size of the continental United States, and there are vast areas of difficult terrain, limited infrastructure, limited transportation assets. It's very austere. Then you mix in with that small groups doing different kinds of missions all around the continent. You can have a very high-risk operational environment. It's clearly not feasible to put surgical teams with every operation over thousands of square miles. What we asked for was a team that was mobile enough to move to locations of greatest operational risk and be light enough to do that with a minimal footprint and be able to get on aircraft of opportunity with units that are moving around the continent.
When I was the Joint Staff Surgeon and I received a call from the Africom surgeon just discussing the need for having some type of medical capability. There are not a lot of military treatment facilities or civilian treatment facilities that are within the, quote, golden hour time and distance. So you can go 7, 8, 9 hours by air before you even get to a treatment facility. So there was a request to all services for capability to support that. They just needed a small footprint unit, about an 8-member team to go along with units that were in action. The problem is that there is really no UIC or unit identification code that any of the services had that fulfilled that requirement. Bottom line is that requirement was about to go unfilled. In fact, it did go unfilled for many months. So fast forward to December when I became the Surgeon General, I said, okay, now let's try to do something to meet the need so we don't have our combatant commands feeling the need to have to contract out this solution.
She came to me and said, you know, we need to fill this capability. And so with that, we started the process for filling and fielding a surgical capability out of our generating assets or our medical centers and our medical hospitals out of Hyde. We synchronized with Headquarters Department of the Army to see, first off, that to validate all of our forward surgical teams were unable to field this RFF. Once we validated that, working with the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army and the Chief of Staff of the Army, who thought it was a great idea for us to utilize our medical command healthcare professionals to bring together, you know, a sort of ad hoc or a unique, never done before capability. The training was very extensive and very thorough, a phenomenal job that was out of this world.
We were able to identify subject matter experts throughout the AMID. The Army has a tremendous wealth of clinical providers that have skills and that bring a wealth of experience. However, there's a very select few that have had the necessary experience and necessary mission experience working with special operations and in austere environment to provide the type of training that we need for our personnel on this mission.
So the team that was brought here for subject matter expertise was brought together large part from the special operations background. So we took the principles that we had learned when we were in training, when we were going downrange, and put those into scenario-based, high-fidelity training so we could take these docs and nurses through the iterations that they could expect in an austere environment. And we really want to get them to the point where they can fully complete the mission in a small space with the right amount of equipment that they can carry on their back to provide resuscitative surgical care and save lives on the battlefield.
Being in Iraq, we were split FST out there with some great people and saved a bunch of lives in a pretty austere environment, and that was one of those things that led me to the conclusion that I could do the things that I'd been trained to do, and to be in this environment providing this care for these men and women that are out there on the front lines, and then bringing all these other medical personnel, their training from different specialties. I mean, it's been really an honor.
Readiness is number one. Our vision is to be the premier, expeditionary, globally integrated medical force. And so this really ties into all of that. You know, to be premier means that we're the go-to ones, the number one person that you're going to think of when you need a special capability. Expeditionary, clearly this is it, to be able to pick up and go when asked to wherever you're asked to go.